Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here. It's Sunday morning. We're doing Sunday special report on the recent announcement by Adam Silver that the NBA will be doing a USA versus the world format for the All-Star game this year coming up. So in some ways, well, there's no East versus West. There's no schoolyard picking. We can kind of already formulate who the All-Star teams will be according to the top players in the league and where they're from. Although there are some questions, some dubious questions about some of the players and where they should play for what they're doing. Some players are born foreign but actually play for Team USA. So where do they fall? If you play for Team USA in the Olympics or in any kind of international play, does that mean you're going to play for USA in USA versus the world? I hope not. I mean, there's some really good players that could be helpful to the international team if they go by birthplace. Namely, people like Joel Embiid, because he's Cameroonian, but he played for Team USA. Where do you play, Joel? That's a real legitimate question for this All-Star game. If you do make the All-Star, that depends on whether you're healthy, honestly. Somebody like, let's say, Donovan Mitchell last year got drafted into Charles Barkley's international all-star team, even though he's from New York. He has Jamaican roots, and they were saying, oh, well, we're going to add him to the international team. It was a loose base, but honestly, it's probably Donovan Mitchell should be on Team USA. Kyrie Irving played for Team USA in international play, but he's technically born in Australia. So could he be on the international team with the other Australians in the league? I don't know. These are a lot of questions. When I delved deeper on this to try and get full rosters, I found it's hard to make a full, complete 12-man team of international players. I guess part of it is the U.S. will dote more on American players and hyping them up and giving them awards, and the international players just get a certain percentage of the spots. So in some ways, if they do this, there's going to be some international players they're going to get all-stars that wouldn't have gotten them if otherwise in some ways, maybe. And that means good things for some of our Canadians like Jamal Murray and RJ Barrett. You know, they're going to need more international players on the international all-star team. Well, this could very well be Jamal Murray's team year to finally make an all-star game. Seriously. Because in some ways, after the really high caliber players like SGA, Nikola, Giannis, Luka, you know, you start getting into murkier water. Then you get a Pascal, Alperen Sengun, you know, Victor Wembanyama. You know, there's a lot of good French players coming up. There's a lot of good international players. But in some ways, the international players have to go harder and do more to get any acclaim or accolades. Because honestly, more spots, they go to American players because in some ways the NBA is an American company. They want to dote on their homegrown players and market them. You know, I look at the U.S. team and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of good players on it. But in some ways, the players, like somebody said recently, I think it was Neil was saying this yesterday at Mo's party, the American players are all the same. They kind of play the same way. He also had the opinion that the Canadian players should be playing on the same team as USA. But honestly, this won't work without the Canadians being on Team World because there's not enough good world players to make up a whole roster. Some people said that knock a couple of years ago, and I said, nah, there's enough. But it's slim pickings. In some ways, it's not. They're going to have to add new international players and elevate them to all-star status. And that may be very good for RJ and Jamal. Seriously. I'd love to see RJ Barrett get his first ever all-star berth this year. That'd be fantastic, especially because it would probably mean he's playing alongside Pascal and Luka and Giannis on that team. So I was looking at it and I'm like, man, they're going to have to add new players that are national all-stars to make this work. What do y'all think about the format? Team USA versus the world? Let me know what you think in the comments and we'll talk about it more about it. I like the format. In some ways, this is a really, really smart decision by Adam Silver because the All-Star game has had problems for a couple of years now. We know this. I thought that last year's format was kind of fun. I liked the little tournament. I felt like it brought out competition in some people, and they actually treated it a little bit more seriously than the All-Star weekend in Utah. It was absolutely a joke the year before. But this may really increase the competitiveness even more because there is this whole thing about USA being the most dominant country in basketball for a long, long time. At the Olympics, they've won many gold medals. They've dominated things, but there is more debate out there now that our international players catching up to the US. Well, this is a way to test it. This is a way to test it. And because in some ways there's bragging rights involved, people will get up and compete in this all-star game just because of the whole way it's set up. Some of them may get prideful on the US side and say, oh no, we have to stand tall and be still the top country in the world in basketball, and we need to prove it. And then the international players will be like, you know what, we're going to show y'all we're catching up and we're coming, and we may actually be better than you right now. So I feel like the impetus and the prodding for the players to play at a higher level and try may be there this year because of bragging rights for world dominance in international basketball. And you know what? I want to see, in some ways, the U.S. lose, partly because they have been the top dog for so long. I feel like in some ways, if the U.S. wins it, it's kind of like boring because, okay, yeah, we already knew you guys were winning all the golds and doing this and that. So in some ways, I would really love to see the world catch up because that sets up better matchups for the future. In some ways, Adam Silver, you better let this game be fair and ref right down the middle. If there's any favor shown towards the United States, just because you want to make sure the facade or the narrative is that USA basketball is tops in the whole entire world, well, you can fail us all. In fact, you might make it so that it just screws up this format, and you're not going to be able to have this format to carry you into the future either. So it may bode well if you get the game to be absolutely on the level as far as refereeing and giving a fair chance to both sides. We know that you can try and write narratives, and there may be a lot of money involved in trying to allow the United States to continue to be the dominant basketball force in the world, but it may serve you better in the long term if the world beats the USA at the All-Star weekend and there's a build-up for rematches and there's a little bit more of an even play between the two of them. We don't want to see just USA runs roughshod over them, and then the answer is, yeah, US is still on top. Okay, do we need to visit this again next year? Because seriously, if the US beats the world this year, they may not do this format again the next year. And do you want to continue to have a good formula that works, that gets competitive juices going in these high-level NBA players? Because I feel like that's the biggest goal you need for the All-Star weekend to be fixed, is that these players need to have the gumption and the drive and the want to play for something a little bit bigger than just All-Star bragging rights and stuff like that. No, they want to show something. And this format is conducive for good competition and guys playing at a higher level. It's just, I don't want to see y'all screw it up. I don't want to see you manipulate it so that you decide the winner somehow, and especially if it's blatantly obvious in front of all of us watching. We just want to see a good game, competitive game, just like these playoffs have been played. And, well, the best team win. But don't be afraid if the world team beats USA, is what I'd say, Adam Silver. Don't be afraid of that. That may be actually very good for your league. Trust me. Very, very, very good. All right, that's what I'm talking about. USA versus the world on the Sunday report. I hope you guys will chime in, say what you got to say on it. Let's see what's going on in the chat. We got Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J, is here first in the chat as usual. He's saying some of the worst people in the Bible made the most positive impact. Why? Because their story didn't end with their mistake. It finished with their comeback. You might feel like you're defeated, but your story isn't over. Your victory is coming. That's pretty cool. Interesting idea. Yeah. I like that. Some of the worst people in the Bible made the most positive impact. Man, some of those bad people in the Bible, they had to turn around. They did something good. Okay. Well, I hope. I mean, there's some really bad people out there doing really bad things. The stuff in California yesterday is absolutely disgusting. The United States democracy is unraveling before our eyes. That a dictator from the Capitol can call the National Guard in on its own citizens. And the local authorities and politicians did not ask for that. That's totally king kind of dictator kind of bullshit going on. And he's using violent force against his own citizens that are peacefully demonstrating. This is really deteriorating fast. And if people don't open up their eyes, if you think that the people that were out in the streets are the problem, you're brainwashed already. And I'm just going to say this right now: fight the power. And the people that are out there peacefully protesting the dictatorship of Donald Trump and the bullshit that's going on in the United States, you have my full support. And you know what? Keep getting out there in the street. If they're going to come with this kind of stuff, they're going to look worse and worse as they do this kind of crap, calling in the National Guard on people yesterday in California. Absolutely disgusting. And the United States, you are failing majorly at your test, which is called democracy. You are failing. Big fat F, F, F. And you guys need to get your head out your ass and save your country as soon as possible. And I'm not saying we're much better up here in Canada with Bill 5 or 6 or whatever the fuck that bill was that they passed this week here in Ontario, where Doug Ford did some sneaky ass shit to get more power for himself, grabbing power through a bill that's absolutely not for the people and is not right. So yeah, there's a real problem in the world right now with right-wing politicians doing power grabs that are taking away freedoms and dictatorial ways. And I don't know how anybody can follow or consider themselves conservative, Republican, PC with a good heart, understanding you are destroying freedom and democracy. And a lot of y'all said that that's what's most important to y'all. Well, you're the wheels to destroy it. Right-wingers, conservatives, Republicans, PC party, you pieces of shit. And if you are associated with those and you're not coming to the right side, which is the people's side, you're part of the problem and you are part of the people that destroyed democracy. So fuck you, PC people, Republicans, and any right-wing leaning people. You can't be moderate. You can't be in the middle. If you're a libertarian, you're in the wrong group. If you're for liberty, you need to be in the street with the people. And if you're against them and you're a libertarian, you're not a libertarian, is what I'm going to say right now. So 2 finger salute to everybody leaning right wing right now. There's no middle ground on this. Either you're for freedom and you're against tyranny, or you're one of the problems. You're a fascist, you're a dictator, you're a MAGA, you're a Nazi, you're a piece of shit. That's what you are. There you go. That's what I have to say to Trevor's words of wisdom. Thank you, Trevor, for your words of wisdom on this morning. Just a little side. Got to fight the power. Fuck tyranny. Fuck Donald Trump. There you go. There you go. Trevor's going to say this next. WNBA game winners. Golden State Valkyries beat the Las Vegas Aces yesterday. Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky, and the Seattle Storm beat the Phoenix Mercury in our WNBA games yesterday. We have one more day of action for our fantasy leagues today on Sunday, and week 3 will be over. And what's going on in our fantasy leagues right now? Well, I've got a lead over Fiercey. It's going to be over, Fiercey. I beat you. I'm doing the Vince Carter. It's over. It's over. A very close game today. They go down the wire with Trucker Kaz having a slight lead, 10-point lead over our 3-time champion Meredith. That's fantastic. Wow, Kaz, if you can pull this off, that is a huge feather in your cap, because MK is seriously the best fantasy WNBA player in this league. And that's a huge feather in your cap. You can pull this off today. MK is going to try real hard to beat you, so you better be on your toes today. Watch. JP has overtaken James at this point with a lead now. Logical Raptors fanatic, almost 100 points ahead of Edmund. And Cool Cat is now losing to Kareem. It is still a very close game. That one is in play for today also. So get your WNBA fantasy lineups set up ASAP, because today is the last day of the week to try and win your matchup for week 3. That's right. There you go. Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex. Good job, Kaz. Hold that lead with MK. We'll see. It's going to be tough. He's going to be coming for you right now. I'm telling you. Good morning, Lex and Rat Free Crew. Game 2 finals today will be an interesting one. There you go. That's right. Yeah, we've got game 2 at 8 o'clock. Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Indiana Pacers for game 2 of the NBA Finals 2025. And I've got your referees. This is your ref report for today. Zach Zarba is going to be the crew chief today for the game, and he favors the Thunder statistically. James Williams will be the referee. He favors Oklahoma City also. And Ben Taylor will make his finals debut as a referee, and he slightly, ever so slightly, favors the Thunder. It's a very, very close margin between the Thunder and the Pacers for him. But very favorable ref crew for the Thunder to even the series in today's game in Oklahoma City. The alternate will be Kevin Scott. And in the replay center, it's the crafty and conniving Scott Foster watching from the eye in the sky. In the WNBA, we got 2 games. Connecticut's at Washington Mystics, Tierra Cruz Angelica Suffren and Angel Kent will be the ref crew. And Minnesota at Dallas is Roy Gibbien, Jenna Renault, and Jeffrey Smith will be the refs for that WNBA game. There's your ref report for today. Yeah, very favorable crew for the Thunder today. So I fully expect them, like I said a couple days ago, SGA is going to come out blazing. He's going to kick some major ass, get like a 40 piece, and the Thunder will win by like 20 to 30 points today. I bet you that's what's going to happen. Seriously, guys. There'll be a correction in some ways of showing dominance by the Thunder at home. They will not allow themselves to lose the second game in a row in their home court. If they do, wow, this game is really going to go 7. It maybe even go faster in the favor of the Pacers, which would be shocking. And it will really build up the legend of Pascal Siakam. So we'll have to see what happens today. The refs are very favorable for Oklahoma City, though, guys, just so you know. Kaz saying, also, I hope everyone had a great time celebrating Superfan Mo's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Mo. It was a great event. Once again, NBA Restaurant did a great job hosting us. Thank you, Jackie, and everybody for getting things together. Of course, Kimberly and the Giants of Africa office coming down there. You make it very special for Mo. And the squeals of delight and the happiness that Mo was having was just fantastic. Guys, I caught a couple of things while I was down there. They did still have copies of JYD's book, Role Player, signed by him. As you can see this, I bought one for Mo for her birthday, and I got one for myself. I'm excited to read JYD's book, and I'll do a Sunday report on this. There'll be a Sunday book report on this, where I read the book and I do a book report like I'm a kid in school again. But I have to read the Role Player book by JYD and get back to you guys with the book review. I also purchased my first ever Toronto Tempo item, guys. I have not bought anything Toronto Tempo until yesterday. I went down to the NBA store at the NBA restaurant, and they had one item that was Toronto Tempo, and it was a candle, which I wanted a shirt or a hat, of course, but I got a candle yesterday. It smells pretty good, but it's got the Tempo logo on it, and I'm just really proud and happy to support the WNBA team coming to Toronto Tempo. And I'm not really one for cents, but you know what? I had to get something. And so we got Toronto Tempo scented candle here. And I like this box because in some ways it's got the date 2024 on it. And it's a Toronto Tempo item. That's like, yeah, they're not starting until 2026. So this is kind of a cool item. I think I might never use this candle and just say, this is a original Toronto Tempo candle from before. Yeah, it's a collector item. And who knows? Maybe it'll be worth $1,000 one day. Who knows? Also, very, very cool that Monique's mother, Jackie, got these little cups made for us. And I got one that says Alex on it. And Adriana got one. And Jen got one. Everybody who came. Neil got one, too. Blackhawk came down and got one. But, yeah, it was just a big thank you to the guests who coming in. And you can get a little cup. It's actually metal. It's like a little hot and cold cup. It's crazy. It's like a shot size. So you do a little shot size of hot cider or something like that. You can put it in here. See, I'm showing it with Lex on there. That's right, Lex. That's right. But yeah, this was really nice touch for them to give us those. And then I also, while I was down there, I bought some packs of cards. And I'm going to do Wild Card Wednesday where I open some cards live on the show from cards from the NBA store down there. So yeah, a couple of cool things from that trip down there. Cool stuff happening down there with getting the JYD book. Yeah, Mo cleaned up. She got some really cool things. She got some hoodies from Adriana and I. She got this little baby Raptor hoodie from Adriana. It's so cool. And Adriana found these really cool cards on Etsy of Scotty Barnes saying, have a hoopy birthday. Like a picture of Scotty on there is really, really cool art. And then she found a Fred VanVleet one too. And yeah, Monique loved the cards they came in. They were really, really good art. And they're just really like cool pieces. Like I didn't know there were little cards like that out there. Adriana's amazing. She found them like that. Yeah, it was really, really good time. I wish more of y'all could have came, but it was a great time. And thank you to Neil coming down with Deborah. Raptor Freak family was represented with Adriana and I and Neil. And yeah, lots of other people came by. In fact, I got to meet Monique's friend, Patrick, who's absolutely a cool dude. And hopefully, Patrick, you'll come and watch the Raptor Freak stream and see me talking about the great event yesterday. Of course, always good to see Jennifer, who was there also. And a lot of Monique's family was there, too. I met Monique's brother yesterday, which was very, very cool. And, of course, her sister was there again and a lot of other relatives in Monique's family. So it was a nice big group. and we had a fantastic time. We had cooked cupcakes this time, and yeah, it was just a really good time. And Mo had a blast, and so did everybody else. The classic cards were a big hit. A lot of classic cards were taken from the classic card box from multiple different people, including some of the people from Giants of Africa. They wanted some of the Sam Mitchell card was popular. People want the Sam Mitchell card. I hope she brings that Sam Mitchell card to Sam and says, "Hey, look, I got your card," and starts showing it to him. And Sam's like, "What are you doing with my card?" It's like, well, maybe you'll sign it. That'd be cool. But it was a good time. I wish y'all came, some of y'all, but it was it's such a fantastic time. Let's see. Mo's here. Good to see a super fan Mo. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Thanks, Lex, Adriana, and Neil for coming last night. And the gifts. Wow. Kimberly has the group pictures, Lex. Okay, cool. Now, if you get them from Kimberly, send one to me and we'll do the Monday moment tomorrow for Monday. Moment. That's what we'll call it. Yeah, if you get me the picture, we'll orient our stream tomorrow around the event from yesterday, which was fantastic. It was absolutely joy to be down there with everybody once again. A lot of the same group from last year came back this year, and it is really, really awesome to see everybody and kind of take stock. Oh, we were here a year ago at this time. This was going on. This was going on, and now it's like this. And it was like, yeah, it's interesting to talk and catch up after a year. Yeah, very, very cool. Trevor's saying the international player is going to win. The top players right now in the NBA are international. Yeah, I agree with you, Trevor. I think that the top 5 players in the NBA are international players, but there's a little bit of a drop off at a certain point. But I don't think it's the international players' fault. I think it's more that the NBA really begrudgingly shows appreciation and recognition of international players. You can look at Siakam. Siakam had to claw for everything he could get. And he really was worked crazy and getting the accolades. In some ways, it's by force. And the other players that may be marginally really good, players like Jamal Murray, they're not getting the shine that they should have. I really do feel like Jamal Murray should have been an all-star by now. But with this format, I'm predicting he will be, because they're going to need more players that are foreign born to fill out the international team. There's such a doting on American stars and trying to manufacture them into marketable stars that they're more likely to get these accolades. And I feel like that's part of it right there. So I want to see people like Jamal Murray. Domantas Sabonis should be in the all-star team this year for sure after getting snubbed last year. There's certain players that have been getting snubbed that are international that should have been there more often or have not ever been there. Like Jamal Murray, maybe RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett has a strong year this year. It's more likely he'll be on the all-star team this year because he's Canadian and he could be on Team World. So I think that'll be awesome. And I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see that. Kaz is saying it'll be great to cheer against the USA team. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, seriously. I mean, they're really building themselves as heels with their president and their isolationist policies, and they're crapping on international allies left and right. Oh, yeah. In some ways, maybe that's part of capitalizing on this, is that, there is animosity towards the United States globally right now. And this is a friendly, peaceful way of, working some of this out a little bit. I know that when we did the 4-team hockey tournament in the last year or so with USA, Canada, Sweden, and Finland, that final game, USA versus Canada, was very, very, it was a certain feel to it, because things had just changed with our diplomacy with the United States. So, if there's any kind of feeling like that, I mean, we were very happy Canada won that final against the United States in that little 4-team tournament. That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a little bit of that going on with this. And Adam Silver's smart for making this format. He's very smart for doing it. Yeah. Let's see. Kaz is saying, I doubt I will get the win against MK, Lex. I only have one player playing today against him, but his four. But I will try my best. Alyssa Thomas being injured hasn't helped my team. Okay, so you really expect MK to come back and get you. Yeah, he's like that. Seriously. He is like that. Trust me. I've met the man a couple times. He came to the 905 game with us this past December. He's a really nice guy, but he's a cutthroat fantasy player. Trust me. And he's got 2 WNBA fantasy rings to show for it. That's right. I sent him in the mail every time he wins, and he wants to go for that 3P. Let's not get it twisted. He wants to be the 3-3 champion of this league. He's 2-0 now, but he might not get it this year. I'm trying hard this year. I'm really going to try and beat him this year because I want to give him a tough test because I feel like he's cakewalked the last 2 years to get to his championship. Yeah. Trevor's saying, I touched down in Oklahoma City last night. So Trevor is on site. He is going to finals game 2 in Oklahoma City today. And yeah, we were talking about it a little bit last night about how the feel of the finals is weird in Oklahoma City because it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's not a travel destination, but it is for Trevor because he's there. And it's cool that a VIP like Trevor is going to go there and be a part of it from out of town. I don't know how many people are like Trevor doing that. Seriously. How many people are flying into Oklahoma City last night just to come to the finals game? You know, are big Hollywood celebrities doing this? No, probably not. It's more just the locals that live in Oklahoma City that love the team. They're coming to cheer that team on. Yeah, it's a weird vibe in there. Like I was saying last night, you know, we know how to do the finals right. You can go back and watch any of the finals highlights with the Raptors involved, and especially in Scotiabank Arena, and you will hear how a finals crowd should sound, how it should act, how it should move. And in some ways, I hate to say it, this is my biggest attraction about a small market making the finals. It's not that the game's boring. It's not that it's boring that they're there. It's that the small market crowd is just not that kind of energy in some ways. That's the problem. In some ways, these people need to get really excited, but they're not. They're kind of just like, well, we're here. And it's like they expected or something. I don't know. Either way, y'all should be very passionate in Oklahoma City. Come on now. Get off your ass and start cheering a little bit better. Because, man, that the feel of it, the prestige of the finals is not totally coming through from the Thunder crowd. I'm saying this right now. And you know what? I want this storyline that small market teams are boring for the finals to die. And if y'all could come with the energy, understand this, fan nations of different teams, especially the small markets. Y'all need to come and show up and bring it when you get to this level of the playoffs. And you need to show the whole world, because the whole world is watching, that y'all are very enthusiastically happy that y'all are in the NBA Finals. I feel like the Thunder were so good this year that y'all are a little bit jaded on just expecting this. So maybe the Pacers need to kick y'all's ass, and maybe that'll wake y'all up, Thunder crowd, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. That's right. You tell me how the vibe is, Trevor J. Tomorrow morning after the game, when you go to the game today, you tell me how the vibe is. We want your sideline reporting about how the finals are going since you're there. That's right. Say hi to Zach Zarba for me. That's right. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Let's keep going in the chat here today. Good to see all the regulars here. Let's see what's going on. Kaz is saying, how close are the seats, Trevor? Yeah, where are you sitting in the game, Trevor J? How close are you? Are you going to be down in the lower bowl? I would like to hear this. Kaz is saying, I just got Jordan Canada back, though. She played her first game this season the other day. Yeah, she was hurt to start the season, so she just came back. Hopefully that'll be a bolster to help you, Kaz, with your team. And yeah, very cool stuff. You like the stuff I got from yesterday? Yeah, I like the JYD book a lot. This is not my first item signed by JYD. I have like 4 items of his signed now. I have his jersey signed. I have a program that he has signed. I think he even tried to sign this bobblehead right here. I got him. He tried to sign it on the bottom, but it didn't really work. And then I got his book now. And I'm excited to read his book and come back with a Sunday book report on the book and what he's saying in his role player book. So, yeah, I'll be coming back with that, man. Patrick's here, guys. Awesome. This is my new friend, Patrick, who I met yesterday. Longtime friend of Monique's, a big-time Raptors fan. He really knows his stuff. And, I want y'all to welcome into the Raptor Freak fold, the Raptor Freak family fold. Yeah, Patrick, man, really great to meet you yesterday. I'm really happy to see you here in the chat this morning. Let's see what he's saying. Much love on the shout out. Had to wait for a sub. Cool period to comment. Yeah, we do that. People that really want to comment in here, you got to be a subscriber. And yeah, you got to wait a little bit just in case. It kind of keeps a little bit of a barrier from instant trolls. But I don't mind the trolls either. They come in here. It's kind of fun to see me deal with them. But Patrick, you are definitely the opposite of a troll. Really awesome to see you in here, man. Blessed to meet you too, man. And Mo, thanks to our dear friend for inviting me. Your crew is awesome. Yeah, man. You got to meet Neil and Adriana and Deborah And yeah, we're the Raptor freaks. We consider ourselves very diehard, positive Raptors fans. That the only thing we care about is getting the next Larry O'Brien for the Raptors. And if it's something that's in the way of that, well, we're not with you. But if you are with us and you have the same goals and you want to be a positive fan, because I honestly think the Raptors Nation's got out of control, Patrick, with toxicness, with too much of like weird like vibes. And like, we talked about a little bit about how people are so easy to trade Scotty away for Giannis right now. And in some ways, we want to be the kind of fans that are unconditionally loving to this team, that really root for this team, that understand the history and the culture of this team and really honor it and cherish it and carry it forward as good, positive fans that really want the best things for the Raptors. No shakiness, no bleeding over from Leaf Nation with kind of toxic beliefs and behaviors about what we're owed. In some ways, we just want our team to play, have fun, do well, and strive to achieve higher and higher every single time. And it sounds like you are a fan just like us, a bird of a feather, and we are happy to have you added in here. So, guys, say hi to Patrick and welcome him in to the RFF, guys. Yeah, and hopefully you can be a part of our Discord and all the stuff we're doing, man. This is a really good way as a Raptors fan to stay on top of everything that's going on. Every morning we're going over everything. And it's not just me catching all the news. You got Monique, who we know Mo's on top of stuff. You got Trevor, who's constantly posting stuff in the Facebook group and the Discord server. And then I'm coming in the morning and I'm just laying it all down verbally so that everybody can hear it all in a clear, concise way. And then also you guys with your comments are always top notch, bringing in your ideas, your things that you see are happening and your opinions. And they're very valued here. That was another part of the whole thing is this is a two-way street. And you guys with your comments, this is a great place to air opinions on Raptors related stuff and be heard. And, I will tell you right now, you saw some of the people who were at the event yesterday, people like Kimberly of Giants of Africa. There are people in the organization that do watch us. And we like to think of us as an unofficial think tank to help the Raptors in certain ways with a litmus test. You see what the fans thinking. Well, let's watch the Raptor Freaks in the morning and let's see what they're saying. It's that kind of stuff. But Patrick, man, it seemed like you're going to be an amazing addition to the group, man. And I'm really happy that Monique introduced us, man. It's really, really awesome, man. Yeah, he's saying Team International, though, gonna smoke the United States. I love that attitude right there. Patrick, that's the kind of stuff a Raptor freak would say. Yeah, Team International goes smoke the US. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go, Luka Doncic. What's going to be? That's high drama. Think about it. Luka versus LeBron. Laker teammates across from each other. They could really market that pretty fun. They could make them the poster boys of the Team USA versus the world with Luka versus LeBron, Laker teammates pitted against each other. That just is music to my ears in some ways. Let's hope that they're healthy. That may have a big factor in it. Trevor's saying Canada has more players in the NBA, more than any other country except for US, so should have a full roster to have a full international team. Yeah, I don't know, man. We need the world and the world needs us. Let's just put it that way. When I was trying to put these teams together, Trevor, we don't have enough high quality Canadians in the league to just have a team to stand on our own. That'd be cool if we get to the point where one day we could have a mini 4-team tournament, although people didn't like that format this year at All-Star, where we had countries like USA, Canada, maybe we have Europe as a group, and then maybe like the rest of the world, like Asia, Australia, and Africa. How would that work out? Like 4 different regions, but Canada could stand on their own? I don't know. We may be in trouble because we can have like the USA is going to go out and get like leading scorers for all teams, right? All their players will be like the leading scorer from their franchise. Canada will have to add people like Nickel and Dylan Brooks, and those are more role players. It'll be a totally different feel. So this would be a tough one, I would say, as far as like Canada standing on their own and just having their own team separate from them. But I would love the day that comes in the future where this is possible, and that could actually happen. But I don't think they're going to do any more 4-team tournaments at that All-Star weekend. And I don't think Canada has enough of the share of the pie to really say we want a half of the side of things in the All-Star game. So I think that it's important. Canada needs the world, and the world needs Canada. I think that that's deeper than what I just said too. I think it's deeper than what I just said too. I think the world needs Canada, and the world Canada needs the world. That's right. That's really true. Let's see. Mo's saying, glad you made it to the chat, Patrick. Glad you enjoyed yourself. Yeah, this is really cool. That's one of the things I love about Mo. She's a connector. She's a connector. She knows so many different people. And the last 2 years, I've met really quality, awesome people at her birthday party. And it's just been fantastic every single time. And the vibe was there again yesterday, just like last year. And I loved it. I love this so much, Mo. So thank you so much for having a birthday. How about that? Thank you, Mo, for having a birthday. Seriously, and her birthday will be on Tuesday. So we'll definitely give her another birthday wish on the actual day of her birthday, guys. Let's see. Kaz is saying, MK, sorry, I said she. I didn't realize, or her rather. This happens to him all the time. Let's just trust this. His name is Meredith, right? And for a whole year on this channel, I was saying she. And then when I finally talked to him, he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm a guy. I'm not a girl." And I was like, "Oh, I was so embarrassed. I felt like Kaz." But don't worry about this. MK is used to this. He's used to this. This has been happening his whole life. So it's not a big deal. Kaz, don't feel like you insulted him or anything. He's a very, very generous and kind person. And he's not going to think any less of you for that. This is a common issue for him, especially through online worlds where you don't see the person. You just hear the name Meredith and you just assume. I did myself. So don't feel bad about this at all. MK's a badass, though. Look out for Meredith. I'm telling you, he will kick your butt at fantasy. That's right. Stillman saying Thunder crowd was nervous throughout the game. Every time Thunder were on the verge of blowing it up wide open, the Pacers would shut them up with big plays to keep it close. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know, man. Rob, I love you, man. Rob Stillman, really great Raptor freak. This is the thing. I'm telling you, man, the energy was just different in the Toronto arena when we were there. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe it's just the easy living in the middle of the heartland of America, out in the cornfields and whatever's going on out in the middle of Oklahoma City. There's just a slower pace of life in Oklahoma City. It's not the fast streets of Miami. It's not the Hollywood glitz and glamour of LA. It's not the Michael J. Fox and Ben Stiller sitting at the courtside of New York. It's just it's a different feel. And in some ways I should allow it to be what it is. But in some ways I'm also seeing a lot of like really fat people just sitting around. I'm sorry. That's what I'm seeing here. I'm telling you, there's a reason why they make the Thunder fans stand until they score the first basket. They get a little more exercise. Let's just put it that. Ooh, am I burning on Thunder fans right now? Maybe I should be nicer. But you may be right that part of it was that they weren't just running away with them and they were edgy and a little nervous because the Pacers were not just rolling over and going away as the Thunder rolled through that game. And they didn't. They came back and beat them. Yeah, they're shook. They're going to be even more shook today because of the way it ended last game. So we'll have to see. G saying Edie is going to miss the beginning of the season due to ankle surgery. Yeah, I read this. That Zach Edey is going to miss the beginning of the season because of his surgery he's just taken. I was thinking about this. You know, Zach probably has a better chance to make the All-Star game too because of this change of the format. Because he is one of the better Canadians in the league, and he's getting more of a spotlight. You know, winning, getting on the rookie team and being one of the top rookies last year. He may have a fast track to being an all-star, partly if they continue to do USA versus the world, because we're going to need more top international players if we're going to fill out that 12-man roster. And Zach Edey may be that guy. And they are even talking about expanding the all-star teams to 14 or 15-man rosters, because some people think there's not enough people there because, you know, the league has expanded since the original All-Stars and, you know, that hasn't coincided with the expansion of more teams in the league. Maybe there should be more All-Stars on the All-Star team. And some people have argued for that. Steve Kerr says he thinks that they should do that. You know, part of it is that they add guys and they get injured and there's injured replacements. So in some ways, sometimes there is like 15 players on the All-Star team because 3 of them are out. And there's 3 injury replacements. I don't know. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. But either way, going world versus USA is going to mean more international all-stars either way. The calculations have been done. There's going to be some guys that are getting all-stars that they probably wouldn't have in some way cases because of the other format. So we'll have to see how it goes. Trevor's saying Zach Edey will miss the start of the season. Yeah, you just said that. G saying welcome to Patrick, and Kaz is saying hi, Patrick. And Isaac in Ottawa is saying W, Patrick. Good to see the benevolent one. Isaac Campbell's here. Trevor J saying, no, my seats are not closed. It was a gift. So he's upstairs. He's upstairs. That's the thing. Yeah, he got a gift of these tickets. It must be nice to just jet set on over and be in Oklahoma City all of a sudden. This will be fun. I wonder if Trevor's going to have Trevor's going to have a blast. And I hope you have a fantastic time. Trevor, you let us know. He's our eyes on the scene. And he will be at Las Vegas for Summer League also this summer again. So Trevor is like our on the scene reporter, especially over stateside. That man will be going to Raptors games in LA, New York, Miami, obviously, and just going down there and going and repping our Raptor freaks in the enemy lines and other arenas around the NBA. It's really crazy, man. Yeah, Patrick's saying he appreciates y'all. Awesome, man. This is awesome, man. This is a tap on you, man. Yeah, this is what we do, man. I'm the one you see, and I talk like crazy, but I'm trying to get everybody's voices heard also. And that's one of the things. We do a call-in show on Thursdays, Patrick, where I actually take calls on the air and put people on the air on speakerphone. So we do have a lot of different avenues for getting interaction for everybody. And I'm even working on, like I said yesterday when I was talking to you, a Discord where we can get boxes of heads from different people. And who knows, down the road, maybe you'll be a talking head on my show in the years to come as this develops more and more. I'm really not tech savvy. So it's a little bit of a learning curve over time, what happens here. Yeah. Kaz is saying, Lex, would you recommend the NBA restaurant to visit? I've been thinking about going with my family the next time we're in Toronto. How is the pricing? Is it very expensive? It's normal restaurant pricing for downtown. I got myself a steak yesterday, and, it's about a $50 meal. It's normal. It's a very nice restaurant. It's very new still. It only got open in the last 2 or 3 years. So it's really got a nice, it's a cool place, honestly. They've got a really good gift shop that has all kinds of great NBA and Raptors apparel. And they even are selling pieces of All-Star Court floor that's like $150, and they're signed, and they have like the emblems of the teams. There's all kinds of cool stuff in the store there. And the restaurant itself has artifacts in the wall. Like they have pairs of different NBA players signed in the wall. You can go look at like Shaq's shoes, or they even have a pair of Jerry West's yellow Converse, like the Converse All-Star canvas ones in there. So it's a little bit of a museum also. And the location's right on the lake. So it's very nice. If you want to sit outside on the patio, you can have a view of the whole downtown with the lake, and you even see Scotiabank Arena just a little bit around the corner from there. So Cass, highly recommend. Yeah, go to the NBA restaurant. And thank goodness they fired the Boston Celtics server, because he's not there anymore, I don't think. I haven't seen him since the first time I went there. And yeah, they stopped having the server wear Celtics gear, which is good. It's not good for business. Let's just say that. It's not good for business. It's a little pricey, but it's as pricey as any restaurant would be downtown. And it's not anything crazy like Soto or Cactus Club. So Patrick's saying, haha, people say trade and don't know the pieces and money involved. I know. My saying is always this, man, Patrick. I always say this. I say people don't live on the moon like Bobby Webster does. Everybody thinks they know how to GM. They're just, I came in this world naturally gifted. But I know exactly what the Raptors need to do to fix their team, because I'm a GM. I know, because I do NBA trade machines on ESPN. I also have a fantasy team that I play on Yahoo. So I absolutely know how to manage an NBA team. And also I play NBA 2K, and I build players on builds, and I trade players on my team. So I'm very, very well experienced with GMing. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a great resume. Yeah, well, maybe you should be running the Raptors. Not. Seriously, these people do not live on the moon. That's what I say. Masai and Bobby live on the moon. And what I mean is they know how much air they have to breathe. They know how high they can jump without gravity. They know where to drive the moon rover around the crater. And that's the thing. We don't live on the moon. We don't know what it takes to be an NBA GM, because there's all this hidden stuff that people do, right? There's things like you got to know relationships with different people on different teams, and they're not all the same. It's not like a computer where you can just put in a trade machine and it just goes through if the money lines up. No, you need to call Sam Presti. You need to call Leon Rose. You need to call people around the league, and they're like, nah, fuck you, Masar. I don't want to do that. Hanging up. We don't know all the personal interactions and the relationships. Those are factors in this. And then you got to add in the whole thing about players. Do players want to come here? Do players want to do this? What do they want to do? Everybody's so easy to do it in their own minds without thinking it through because they don't live on the moon. They don't know exactly how hard it is to live on the moon and be Bobby Webster, the GM of the only Canadian team in an American sports league. And that's why I hate the trade talk so much, is because it's not coming from people that are qualified to make these decisions or to put these forth. Sure, we could all want Giannis. We could all want Kevin Durant. But do we understand the realistic reality of what that would take and what that would do to our team? And no, we don't. So I always tell people, you don't live on the moon. You're not Bobby Webster. So you have no idea what you're talking about. That's what I tell people all the time. And you're exactly right, man. People just think that trades are so easy. They're not. They're very difficult to work out. And there's a lot more to trades than just lining up money. There's a lot of thought and a lot of different strategic things you got to do. And I'm just glad we've got a CIA profiler named Bobby Webster who's in charge of this kind of stuff. He can read people, and he's not going to be fleeced. And that's a very important thing right there. Yeah, that's a very important thing. Patrick's saying Canada still needs some star power. We're getting there. Another 5 years, we're stacked. I agree with this too. I mean, we can see them coming. Shaden Sharp, Benedict Mathurin. We've got some young Canadians that have come into the league in the last couple of years that are maturing, and they're going to get better in the next couple of years. And hopefully that'll coincide on both the NBA level and for Team Canada and the FIBA level and international play with our coach, Gordon Hebert, the new coach of Team Canada, the former Germany coach. Yeah, we're going to have to see how these guys look. Of course, our leaders, SGA, and guys like Andrew Nebhard standing next to him, Lou Getz-Dort. Team Canada has a very promising future coming up, and I'm excited to see more of it. But the young crop, let's see how they step into their roles over time. Zach and Shaden and Leonard Miller. Who knows what could happen with him down the road, too. There's a couple of guys that I think will be Team Canada guys in the near future. And Shaden Sharp, he's made the overtures that he's very committed by coming to Paris last year, even though he didn't even play, and being there with the team and watching them. This is important to show commitment to Team Canada. And the young guys are showing it. And that's what I love, man. They're going to be stacked. You're right. Roger Raymond's here. Good morning, Roger Raymond, Rapid Freak Roger. Good day to all, and happy birthday, Superfan Mo. Yeah, it was a fantastic day. Of course, to know Mo is to know pure love for the Raptors. And that's just what it is. In fact, I was really happy. Adrienne and I came down there and gave her a couple hoodies so she could be decked out for next season in some new threads coming down there, because her looks, when she gets down to the arena, she's always coming down there with a fresh, nice jersey, a nice hoodie, some new hat, something like that. Yeah, we wanted to help Mo out with her fresh looks for the season coming up. And that baby Raptor hoodie is going to be so fire when you show that off down at the arena, Monique. It's going to be so fire. Your friends are going to be like, "What? That's so cute, Mo. Oh, look at the new baby Raptor." They're going to be like that. Seriously, I know it's going to happen. It's going to be awesome, man. G saying SGA, Joker, Giannis, Wemby, RJ, Sengun. Yep, Sengun. Wagner brothers. Yeah, that Franz will probably get on the All-Star team because of this. Because Franz has not been on the All-Star team yet, has he? He'll probably get on it because of this. I don't know if Mo will get on it there. You're a little bit of a stretch, G, if you think Mortiz Wagner is going to be a All-Star this year. Nebhard has a chance. Yeah, Nebhard has a chance, especially with this spotlight being in the finals and getting more shine right now. He's getting a lot more spotlight. And yeah, Nebhard has a chance to make this team. Mathurin, I don't know, maybe. Zach, Pascal, Dylan, Shaden Sharp, Zubac, he probably will make that All-Star team. World, yeah, he'd be a good one. Yeah, I'm sure I'm missing obvious ones too. Hey, there's a lot of them. We got to remember who they are, and some of them are going to be uncovered and coming there for the first time, like RJ Barrett and Jamal Murray. I'm telling you, I'd love to see RJ make the All-Star team this year, because partly, he should get it on his own merits also, not just because of this format. He'll get an All-Star, especially if he plays like he did last year. He's one of the leading scorers for the Raptors, and we're healthy and we're winning this year. We're going to get an All-Star this year. Oh, yeah. And it could be too, hopefully, because we're playing so well. But we have to be playing really, really well. And we can get Barnes and Barrett there. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. That'd be really ideal. Patrick, thank you for the super chat, man. $2. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thankful to be a part of the Raptor Freaks fams. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Love to you, man. I appreciate that, man. That's very, very kind. Kaz is saying maybe the small market teams don't have as many super fans as the big franchises like the Raps, Lakers, and Celtics, so the crowd doesn't give out so much energy. Just my thought. Yeah, W the super chat. Yeah. That may be right. I don't know. I feel like it's just that it's not a destination. Some people may be like into the NBA and they're like, I'm going to go to the finals. And this year it's in Milwaukee. I don't know. It's like, are they going to go to Oklahoma City just for the finals like Trevor J? I mean, Trevor J is a special NBA fan. I'm telling you. It's just, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to diss it too much. I feel like the Thunder are a really good team, and they're absolutely the best team in the league this year. But in some ways, their fans, I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. And maybe it's partly because I'm watching on League Pass, and I see the in-game ops, and I see what they're doing in the breaks, and they just seem like bumps on the log, man. Wake up, y'all. And as Jennifer said yesterday, she didn't like that they were all wearing white shirts. Like, she doesn't like when teams do this, when they have like the shirts in the seats and they're white. They kind of just like are not visually good on TV. And I agree with her. It's kind of like it's all like it's just a whiteout. They call it the whiteout. And it just doesn't look right on TV. It's not the right backdrop in certain ways. I get what she's saying. I totally get what she's saying. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Trevor racking up those Spirit frequent flyer miles. Yeah, I don't know, man. This dude, he gets around, and like I said, he's got the Ric Flair high profiling, jet styling. He's just like, he's living that life. Woo! That's right. That's right. Let's see. Patrick's saying Trevor's going to be business class soon with those miles. He might be already, man. Our guy Trevor is a platform artist. He does hair. He does women's hair specifically. He will not do men's hair. I asked him if Scotty showed up at your door down in Fort Lauderdale, Trevor, would you say, yeah, I'll twist up your hair for you, Scotty Barnes? He said, no, I only work with women. I only do women's hair. And he does movie stars' hairs, apparently. He's like, does the hair of very rich and famous women. So he's a very, very high level hairstylist. That's where, and he works like Fashion Week in New York. So Trevor's an important dude in that world, man. He's an important dude in that world. He may be in business class. That's right. Trevor's saying, Stargate, I would not fly in that airline if it's for free. He doesn't do Spirit. Nope. He's like, nah, screw that airline. I don't want my engine catching on fire. You guys are laughing. You want to dunk for Trevor for that one? All right, we're going to give him a dunk. This is what we do, Patrick. When somebody has a good comment or something funny, maybe it's helpful, factoid or something like that, we give people dunks. And Trevor's getting a dunk right now for being funny, for dissing Spirit Airlines. Trevor, you're at 99 on the dunk charts. That means you've had 33 dunks for the year, 3 points each dunk. Yeah, Trevor, 99. Yeah, okay, Gretzky. You're probably greater than Gretzky at this point, Trevor. I'm going to say that. Yeah. Yeah, Stargate saying Benedict was in Paris as well with the team. That's right. Mathurin and Sharp were both injured and not available to play for Team Canada, but they made themselves present, and through their selves being there, that shows a commitment. That shows a commitment that they want to be there in the future. And, listen, a couple of years ago, maybe like 10 years ago even, it was so hard to get any of the Canadians to commit to the national team. And now we've got young stars like Shaden Sharp and Ben Mathurin coming in hurt and putting in the time and showing the commitment to get in line to be the next people to come in and replace the old guard on the Canada team. Yeah, that's good. That's really, really good. And because they know it's coming and they want to be a part of that prestige. And man, if we keep getting these crazy 7-foot Montreal people like Oliver Ryu coming, man, Team Canada is going to be a Monstars kind of team. With Zach Edey, Oliver Ryu, and there's even this other kid who's like 14. He's like 7'6" already. So what is going on with the water in Quebec? I mean, seriously, they're growing some kids like weeds in my yard out there, man. It's crazy, man. These kids are big now. Kaz is saying Lauri Markkanen. That's right. Lauri Markkanen definitely could return to the All-Star game out of Finland and play for Team World. That's a good one. OG. Wow, would OG Anunoby finally get an all-star berth because he's on the Knicks and he's like that now with that kind of spotlight? That would be awesome. OG is a star. Of course he is. Anne Hathaway thinks he's a star, and she's a star. So OG must be a star. If a movie star thinks he's a star, so he should be an all-star. So there you go. I roundabout logic to get OG as a British man on Team International. Let's go, OG and Pascal reunited. Yes, on Team World. I love that, man. That'd be awesome. Stargate saying Sabonis would also be a player for the world. Yeah, Sabonis would definitely be on there. He got snubbed last season. He should have been on the All-Star game this year. He led the league in rebounds. How the hell does the NBA snub other stat categories at this point? I'm sick of this, NBA. You put all the points per game guys in the All-Star game, but you're forgetting about Trae Young, who's the the leader in assists for the league this past year. He got in on injury replacement. In some ways, they're going to start making that a verb. Oh, I got Trae Young. What do you mean? Oh, you didn't make the All-Star team, but they added you later as injury replacement. Yeah, that's what I mean. You got Trae Young? Yeah, I did. I should have made the team in the first place, but I got on at injury replacement. Oh, you got Trae Young. Yeah, that seems becoming a verb the last 2 years with the way they've treated Trae Young in the All-Stars. Because I don't agree with that. He led the league in assists, and Domantas led the league in rebounds. And Domantas didn't get it put back on the team on injury reserve. Domantas, did you get Trae Young? No, I did not, Jonas. And I'm mad about it. Why the hell? I should be all-star. Yeah, you should, because he was a rebounding leader for the league this year. It's so stupid, man. Rudy Gobert? Yeah, okay. I see that you put laughs after that, Kaz. Are you being serious? Because, we could get that guy and put him on the international team. He is French. I don't know, man. He has been an all-star in the past. So maybe, yeah. Mo's saying news and notes. Yak official in Australia with Jim Sand. I'll post it in this chat. Yeah, I saw that picture. Jakob is feeling the love from the Raptors organization that they sent Coach Jim Sand and a couple of the handlers, too. There's one of the guys who helps them shoot around at the beginning of the game who's in the picture, too, over there to work with Yak. Yak, of course, is in Austria. He's doing his camps with the kids over there. He has youth camps that he does with Austrian kids. He wants some Austrian kids to follow in his footsteps. Could Jakob Poeltl be on the international all-star team? To me, I know the Raptors have a line of guys who probably ahead of him to get all-star, and they're not going to give us like 4 all-stars. But in some sort of world somewhere, I would say Jakob Poeltl could be an all-star internationally for Team World. Why not? The only player to ever play out of Austria. And, well, he's got his camps going on over there trying to get another one coming. But that is really awesome. The Raptors send Jim Sand over there. I'm sure Jim's not that upset. Go to Austria, Masai? Okay, I'll go. Yeah, go on then, Jim. And go say hi to Jakob at his home and show that the Raptors really care about him by sending people from our organization there to work with him at home. It's very, very cool. I love that picture, and we love you, Jakob Poeltl forever, baby. Let's go. That's right. Trevor's saying Rudy Sugar Bear. Rudy Sugar Bear? You're talking about, Rudy Gobert. Yeah, Rudy go. I don't know why they're blaming labs in China. They obviously should have blamed Rudy Gobert for COVID. Obviously, it was Rudy Gobert's fault. It was him that started the whole damn thing in that press conference. Why is everybody saying it's China's fault? No, it was Rudy Gobert's. All right, Stargate saying, yeah, Spirit is bad. And so is Ryan Air over in Europe. I know I've heard these crazy stories about airlines like not being fully legit and stranding customers in places that they flew to. And it's like all of a sudden they just closed shop, like JetBlue or something like that. There was a couple of them. It's like all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, we ran out of business while you were on vacation in Hawaii. I'm sorry, you're just stuck in Hawaii. Damn it. Oh, wait, I'm in Hawaii. Yay. I'm sorry, boss. I can't come home. The airline ran out of business. I'm stuck here for good. I'm decided I'm become Magnum PI. Yeah, I'm gonna get my PI license. Yeah. Sorry, I do this crazy like riffing sometimes, Patrick. All right, Patrick's saying Sabonis finally getting the All-Star recognition for Worlds. I think he would have to be on there. Like I said, I was trying to figure out the spots, like 12 guys international, 12 guys American, and kind of going through it. I have a list of like, I'll share it with you guys real quick. I have a list of players that I put on both sides, and kind of there's 15 deep, and some of them are kind of like I'll say this: some of them are dues like kind of like maybe not on there. I put yellow over them because in some ways they were designated as international players, but they're kind of American also. But yeah, you guys can look at this. This is a spreadsheet I just built last night. USA versus the world, and I've kind of got a list of kind of the top players on both sides, and kind of looking at it, and I'm like, who could we get in here that would fit and be in these spots, right? And been about 15 deep. And if you look at my list, you can kind of see, I think these are the top players in the league, but I may be missing some people. You might see something that like, oh no, Lex, you need to put this person in for this. I think Donovan Mitchell shouldn't be on Team World. He's born in New York City. Come on. So in some ways, it's like, why do that? So Joel and Kyrie, if you're going by birthplace, they should be on Team World. But it may very well be they want to be on Team USA because of what they play in the Olympics. They play on Team USA. So, yeah, I think Sabonis should be on there for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And Jonas, free agent. Jonas is toying with going back to Lithuania to play this year. I don't know. He might walk away from a $10 million payout by the Kings for this season coming up to go back home and play EuroLeague. So there's really strong chance that Valanciunas is going to walk away from the NBA this summer and go back to Europe and finish his professional career playing back home. I mean, if I was him, I'd probably do that. You know, the U.S. is going in a weird direction. And in some ways, you may not want to be there, Jonas. Seriously. And you have this option. He has a very long NBA career, very storied in some ways, is very underrated. And, you know, he may want to get his last few years playing in front of European crowds at this point. So, you know, the clock's ticking for him as far as being able to play physically at basketball. And, well, maybe it is time to go home and start trying to get some accolades and championships on his home continent in Europe. Yeah, I think that that's what's going to happen. I think he's under contract for one more year. He's actually under contract with the Kings for this year. And I believe it's still 10 million that he was making last year. It's part of that deal that he signed with the Wizards last year or last summer. And that was so friendly. And well, you know, I don't know. We'll have to see. The Kings are going nowhere. In some ways, him coming back to the Kings would just be spinning his wheels. And he may be, as much as he wants to play next to DeMatteis, he already did that. He did that this season. So, and if DeMar's leaving too, because it does seem like DeMar's not going to be a King again this year. I mean, I could see Jonas just going back to Europe. I think that's what's going to happen, actually. So we'll have to see. Patrick's saying, I would take Derek Lively over Jonas for availability. Yeah. I mean, well, that's a totally different kind of player. Lively's such an in-the-air player, and Jonas is not. And Lively's such a young player, and Jonas is not. Yeah, this is a very different player. I mean, I want to get a Lively type in the draft, and that's why I keep pushing for Asa Newell. I feel like Asa Newell has got some real Derek Lively kind of two energy. It's not as aggressive and crazy like Derek, but there's some of that kind of stuff on that spectrum. And that's why I fully endorse Bobby Webster drafting Georgia's Asa Newell at number 9. And don't think about it being a reach. Telling you, he's going to be very good. And that is the player I want to see the Raptors draft. We'll see if we get it right. You know, we'll have to see. Draft is coming up. We got a lot of time still to talk about what's going to happen with it. That's right. Yeah, Jonas is a free agent in 2027. Well, he may be just like, I'm walking away from the contract. Rip it up, Kings. I'm going home. Because you know what? He could probably make a similar amount of money back in Europe. He's a huge international star. And, you know, people over there are going to be like, yeah, this is Jonas from the NBA. They'll eat it up. They'll love it. He can go there and play against Serge. It'll be Jonas versus Serge in German league, stuff like that. You know, it'll be fun. We'll have to see. Yeah. Trevor's saying when you're ready to die, you contact Spirit Airlines. When you're ready to die, you contact Spirit Airlines. Is that why they're called Spirit? Do they have that song by Norman Greenbaum as their theme song? Going on up in the spirit in the sky. That's where I'm going to go when I die. I'm going to buy a ticket to Oklahoma City, and I'm going to crash before I get there because I flew Spirit. That wasn't my best Weird Al parody right there. I should have made it rhyme better. But that's pretty funny. You said you call spirit when you're ready to die. Okay, Dr. Kevorkian. Oh, right. Yeah, Dr. Kevorkian ain't around anymore. Just call spirit. There you go. There you go. That's so funny, man. Patrick said by then he would regress a bit, serviceable center like Adams. Yeah, Jonas is weird because on his tail end of his career, he's solid for certain things. And really it's like paint presence, being a big, being strong, rebounding. He's got a very heady, like veteran mind at this point too. He's very, very smart about how to play off people with picks and pick and rolls. And his shot has gotten better and better as his career's gone on. We know that Jonas is not afraid of shooting threes at this point. And yeah, he's an interesting player at this point. I actually think that Jonas Valanciunas is much more skilled than Steven Adams. Steven Adams is more of a big brute, and so is Jonas. But I feel like Jonas has more of an offensive repertoire than Steven Adams. Steven Adams, in some ways, is not really a starting center to me, and he hasn't been in the last couple of years. To me, Jonas is a starting center because he can actually hold it down offensively and contribute at least 10 points a game. Sometimes Steven Adams is not trying to score at all, and he's purely muscle. But I will say this, both of those players are two of the strongest players in the NBA. Oh, yeah, they're very strong men, Steven Adams and Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah. Yeah. Were they on the same team for a second there in Memphis? I think they might have been, actually. I think they might have been. Stargate saying at Patrick, I did not mention Jonas to start any comparison with any other player. I referenced to whom the Raptors consider over the next. Shaking my head. I don't even see your you're just asking who's a free agent. Well, come on, Stargate. Patrick's a brand new person who's coming into this here. Let's not be feisty with new people, especially somebody I just met at the Raptor Freak Hangout for Mo's birthday party yesterday. Patrick's new. We want to be welcoming, and Stargate can be a little abrasive at times. That's fine. That's part of his characteristics that we like. But yeah, he's not trying to put words in your mouth or anything. We're talking about totally different certain things here. Yeah. Neil's saying Embiid doesn't count. He is about the easy win instead of doing it the right way. There you go. There's Neil right there. Good to see you yesterday, Neil, at the party yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. I think that the odds that Joel will be hurt during all this are pretty high. I think they're pretty high. I think that in some ways, Embiid's injury right now is scary because if Sixers fans are being honest with themselves, he may never come back correctly ever again. Seriously. And, some of us here are not upset about that. Seriously. Big Dummy and Bozo. If he's not going to play ever again in the NBA correctly, like at the skills that he's shown in the past, because his knees are just degenerated to that point, so be it. That's what I say to that. And, it's already true that Pascal's the greatest Cameroonian NBA player ever. And Joel is not going to surpass him. He won't. I don't think he physically will be able to at this point. So we'll have to see if Joel is even in the running to be an all-star because he's not even if he's healthy or not. Seriously, that's a big part right there. Patrick saying, "Oh, my bad, Stargate." Not meaning it like that. Don't worry about this. He's just a little touchy sometimes. We love Stargate. He's a very important role on this channel, but sometimes he can be feisty and too feisty for his own good. But we love Stargate, and Stargate and I, we have a good, strong mutual respect. I just want him to be nice to new people that are coming in. And understand that we want to grow and we don't want to be mean to new people that are coming in. And it's not a big deal. You guys were talking apples to oranges and maybe just crosstalk and not totally exactly. I don't know why he came at you like that. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Let's see. Not meaning like that. I was looking at it in terms of the needs for the Raptors need filling. Well, this is a valid thing to say. I don't think Jonas coming back to the Raptors is in the cards. Because like I said, I think he's going to probably go back to Europe. But Steven Adams on our team, having him on our team would be nice because he is a backup center and he would do good things for us and shoring up the things that Jakob does for us in the starting lineup, needing it in the second lineup. And actually, he would be a good fit because he doesn't need minutes. And there could be nights where we don't need him at all. But there are nights where we do need him and he could be ready and come out there. And he's definitely a respected, feared player in this league that people don't mess with. And that's always nice to have. So I would be welcoming if Steven Adams somehow, some way ended up on our team as our backup center for this year. I don't know if it's likely, though. I don't know if it's likely. Of course, he is an international player also. I don't think he's on the level of getting to the All-Star game, but he could be in that pool for Team World. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, isn't he an international player? Isn't Steven Adams like Australian, right? Am I right? Is that right? I don't know. Patrick saying, I love Jonas, but Lex saying he will likely go back home. We'll never know after, hang on, it jumped ahead. The finals is done. Would be cool as a vet option with a slightly lower salary. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's weird because we had Jonas and Jakob before. It's like if we come full circle. It's like Jakob was Jonas's rookie. So they do know each other very well from being teammates early on. And, you know, there was a lot that Jakob learned from Jonas when he first came into the league. So there's a special bond between those two. But I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I mean, I really don't. I think that we need to get that center replacement, that next center from the draft. If there's a free agency signing and somebody like Steven Adams or Naz Reid, I'm okay with it. That'd be awesome because I know that Bobby and Masai worked it out and they like the fit and it makes sense with our salary cap. But I think it's more likely that we're going to add the backup big, whether it's a 4 or 5, at either the 9th or 39th pick in this month's draft. So we'll have to see. I don't know where Steven Adams is with his contract. Is he a free agent this summer? That may be a factor in it right there. That may be a factor in it there. Yeah. Kaz is saying, man, I love JV when he played for us. Me too, man. He was a happy-go-lucky, very serious professional, but very not serious at times too. Quick to smile and just goofy. And yeah, he's fun that he's stayed in the league so long. Seriously. You know, there was a lot of talk that Jonas was a dinosaur, literally, on the Raptors, that his style of play as a center and that position was going out of style and was not going to be a part of the league in a couple of years. So it was a real worry that, you know, his type of player was going extinct. And the fact that he's still in the league to this point is really awesome. I love that. The longevity of guys that have come through the Raptors franchise is really impressive, honestly. You think about DeMar and Kyle, they're getting closer to 20 years than most people do. You think about Jonas, he's still around and playing in the league. You got, we just talked about James Johnson yesterday. The fact that he's still on the Pacers right now after coming in the league in 2009, it says something about the quality of the people we come through our team, because they stick around the league because they're good quality pros and they are in the league for long periods of time. So it's like, you know, that's pretty cool that a huge part of our core from 2013 is still playing in the league 12 years later right now. Seriously, with Jonas, Kyle, DeMar, James Johnson, and Corey Joseph even. You know, that's crazy. These guys have been in the league a long time. Long time. Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie, our Raptor Freak trivia champion this year. It's looking like. He said reports online from a trusted Bucks insider saying Giannis will not be requesting a trade away from the city. Only franchise he has ever known. There you go. I knew it was hot air. I knew this was being weaponized by ESPN, by Bleacher Report, by people that just want to cause chaos. And they're not just doing it to us. You know, Raptors Nation is going through it with this Giannis stuff right now, for sure. But it's happening in New York. It's happening in Boston. It's happening in Orlando. It's happening across all fan nations. This upheaval of talk and like, oh, we're ready to trade Paulo for Giannis. You know, the same kind of conversations are going on in different fan nations, similar to ours. And I feel like this is just a weird way of stress testing some of the NBA franchises for the resolve and their direction and what they're trying to build on their team. You know, Leon Rose was quoted recently saying you can't win with quick fixes. We've tried here in New York by getting a flashy player or getting a high-profile coach and just hoping that is going to fix things and make us better. No, you can't do it that way. You have to build a team right. And in some ways, it's building a team like the Thunder or the Pacers. And this quick fix idea of like, oh, you can just grab Antetokounmpo or Durant right now to fix your team is fool's gold. But some of these teams are dumb enough to do it. Some of these teams are dumb enough to do that, to mess up some of the good things they've got going on with young players to get a quick fix with a big superstar. But I'm so glad our front office is who they are. They're smart. They're intelligent. They won't fall for this crap. But teams like the Knicks will. They will. They'll go and get that big fish and screw things up. I'll tell you this: them firing their coach this week, Thibodeau, is a huge mistake. And if they trade somehow, some way to get Giannis or Kevin on their team, that'll be a huge mistake also. And it may seem like it's really good, but in some ways, the Knicks, who had the perfect kind of group together with Hartenstein and OG, and after they made that trade, they screwed that up already and have moved away from that really good stuff that they had the second half of the season when they got Anunoby from us. And that magic is gone. And it was really iHeart on that team with them. And you can even include somebody like DiVincenzo as far as what he was adding to that team and some of the X factors. So they went too far. And they really started going too far with Mikal Bridges. And then the Cat trade, honestly, I don't think that helped their team in the long run. Seriously, that's a quick fix. It's a shiny toy. It looks like it makes sense on paper, but in some ways, does it add up to winning? No, Cat was a detriment to them in the playoffs. I'm going to say that right there. So, yeah, you got to be careful. I love that Reggie's come to this conclusion. He declared yesterday, it's like, I'm officially stopping all this Giannis bullshit because, yeah, this is what we thought all along. The overtures from Giannis are that he's this loyal dude and he doesn't want to go anywhere. I knew this whole time. His energy is not like it was 2 years ago after Miami beat them and humiliated them in the first round as a play-in team, and they were the number 1 seed. If he didn't demand a trade after that summer, after they fired Mike Budenholzer, he was not going to demand a trade this year because that was the summer where they were really, really humiliated. So I don't see it. The Bucks are not trying to trade him as an organization. They don't want that. So they will fight and plead and ask him to stay every single time. And it's unless Giannis absolutely wants out of there, like Jimmy Butler did out of Miami last year, he's not going anywhere. And I'm glad that this hopefully will kind of quiet down all this Giannis talk a little bit more. At least with the people who are paying attention. Some of the casuals who are not paying attention will continue to say this stuff. And we'll say, whoa, bro, you didn't hear? Giannis is staying. He said he doesn't want to get traded. Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay. Never mind. Sorry. I was talking about Giannis again and trading Scotty and selling out Scotty and stabbing him in the back. And I'm a jerk for even saying that. It's kind of like that, man. It's kind of like that right now. Kaz said they played together on Pelicans, Lex, Steven Adams and JV. I thought so. That makes sense, Kaz, that they were both there in New Orleans from 2021 and 2000 to 2024. Very cool. Very cool. Patrick saying to Kaz, with those two, I was surprised Grizzlies didn't make it far. They were missing key roles. It was on the Pelicans they were together. The Pelicans are a badly run organization. They're really, really badly run. And the whole thing with them is Williamson. Williamson has totally stifled them. He's been a dead end and a horrible leader and a horrible franchise player. And honestly, Brandon Ingram's thankful he's on our team at this point. Seriously. What did he say when he first showed up in Toronto? It's nice to be on a team where the players are actually listening to the coach. He said that. Seriously. He said that. It's nice to see that my teammates actually listen to the coach here in Toronto compared to what was happening in New Orleans. So, man, it's a dumpster fire down there. And them not going and doing better, that doesn't surprise me because the Pelicans have had problems. They've not been run well. Well, Joe Dumars is in charge down there now. We'll see if he does a better job going forward. But I think the big thing they need to do to get better in New Orleans is they have to move on from Zion. Zion has to be traded because in some ways, man, he's not doing anything right for them. It'd be smart. Like, I think what will happen is Zion will get traded for another problem player somewhere else. Like, could you see Zion Williamson getting traded for Kevin Durant all of a sudden? And Zion's in the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant's on the Pelicans all of a sudden. That may be a good switch of scenery for both of them. It'd be very interesting. Let's see. Where am I in the chat? Let me get back to the right place. Okay, here we are. Trevor's saying Joel names should have changed to Jello. You want Joel to be called Jello now? It's just one more added letter and scrambled a little bit. Jello Embiid, Jello and Bozo. Is that the official name now, Trevor? Jello and Bozo? He's made like Jello and he's a bozo? Yeah. I used to call him Will Smith Frankenstein because I felt like if you made Will Smith into a Frankenstein monster, you'd get Joel Embiid. All right, let's keep going. I don't know why we're dumping on him. The poor man had a really bad year, a traumatized year. Seriously, poor guy. Starkey saying, I don't think I was being mean at all. Just clarifying what I mentioned, Jonas, and trying not to direct the conversation in a certain direction. That's all. It wasn't attack. Okay, I thought when you say shaking my head, it's kind of like, okay, come on. Either way, let's be welcoming. Patrick is a diehard. He's a real one. I can tell from talking to him yesterday. He knows his Raptors. He goes to games. And I mean, look, he's at Superfan Mo's birthday party. That man's a real one. Honestly, you know he is. He's been friends with Mo for years. So let's welcome him in. We want to grow as a RFF. And Patrick, you're awesome, man. It was really great to meet you yesterday, man. And I'm really happy you came to the channel this morning, man. Kaz saying Steven Adams is the best screen setter in the NBA. He hurts people. He can hurt people. Yeah, he's from New Zealand, I believe. That's right. New Zealand. That's right. That makes sense. So we're saying, yeah, Steven Adams to Toronto would be nice. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It definitely would help us with our size. That's for sure. Would y'all want Boban? Would y'all want Boban? Seymour's here. Good to see the Mountain Standard Time checking in on the channel with the sheriff. Seymour Pate holding it down in Calgary, Alberta, Canada for us. Halliburton's game looks like LaMelo's in a way, just that Halliburton is consistent and he has a better supporting cast around him. LaMelo won't win in Charlotte. MJ couldn't win in Charlotte. Yeah, I agree with all that, man. That's an interesting comparison I never really thought about. LaMelo and Tyrese and their games. I think that in some ways, once again, I think that Tyrese's game is more ethical. I think that LaMelo takes a lot of extra risks with flashiness sometimes, and it pays off. I mean, he has these crazy three-point shots that he comes in and just line drives just out of the blue. Some of the extra dribbling and stuff is not necessary, and it drives me crazy. Once again, I'm not for flashy players. I'm for concrete fundamentals that absolutely are more proven, and you can't have the risk of messing up just because you want to make a little fancy move all of a sudden. That's why I'm kind of anti-LaMelo Ball. I agree with you that LaMelo's not going to go anywhere in Charlotte. In some ways, it's a good team for him to be on because he's good for their business in that city. He's very popular, and Charlotte Hornets need good, attractive players on their team. So I don't know. In some ways, Charlotte needs LaMelo way more than LaMelo needs Charlotte. And we'll have to see how things go in the next few years. I agree he's a very talented player, but in some ways his player build is not one that I respect. And it's more because in some ways he's more notoriety for being flashy and having cool tricks and stuff than actually winning or doing certain things on the basketball court that fundamentally win. And that's the thing that I'd say. Now, some ways I would say, okay, they can be compared in clutch factor. I think Tyrese and LaMelo can have certain clutch factor, but Tyrese is more proven on the bigger stage and in bigger stakes games because the Hornets don't get to them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tyrese is a little bit more of an ethical player to me as far as his game, the way he plays. I think his assist to turnover ratio is really good considering the kind of style that he plays. He could be a little bit more reckless and not as on point, but he's actually a legitimate point guard that does a pretty good job. Halliburton. He does a pretty good job. Yeah. It's an interesting comparison. I never really thought about those two compared to each other. Reggie's saying, I know it's the youthful five that the Raptors covet, but Adams, with his rebounding and scary look, Toronto should make an offer. Well, if he's available and they can, yeah, I don't mind that. Let's go do the Instagram stories because there's a little bit of weird overtures coming from Chris Boucher right now. We'll start with Leo Routens with his words of wisdom this morning. This is what Leo's saying, guys. Blessed is he that expects nothing, for he shall never be disappointed. This is exactly true, man. Don't go into things with expectations. Just go in and let the thing be what it is. And you know what? You won't be disappointed. This is fantastic words of wisdom from Leo Routens, one of the voices of the Raptors. Let's see. There's Superfan Mo on my Instagram stories, and there she is with Jennifer. Happy birthday to you. So cool to see all the love and fun, the family, the friends, the organization coming out in full effect for Monique yesterday. Norman Powell, Understand the Grind shirt with the roses from his Portland era. He's got that shirt on in his workout right there. Y'all can buy Understand the Grind from our champion Playoff Powell for the Clippers. He has a great apparel line, so check it out. Yeah, you can go buy it. Slim Duck saying this right now. This is what I'm talking about. Chris Boucher saying, everybody wants me to listen to them, but nobody listens to me. You know, there was some insight given to us last night that in some ways, somebody was saying that Chris may have had problems with the Darko last year because of childcare. That in some ways, Chris's baby mama and him were not getting along, and that he had to pivot into looking after his child more last season. And this was a problem, and that he may have missed practices because of this. And that there's a little bit of something saying that part of the reason why Chris got benched for a big chunk of the end of the year is because of this, y'all. And I'm not going to say that any of that's official for sure, but this is a little birdie that told me this, just so y'all know. And that may be part of the conflict that happened, is actually that Chris had to be a dad and he had to put more time into looking after his kid. Now, I would say you got all the money in the world, you go get a nanny, right? That's what Neil was saying yesterday. He's like, why didn't you get a nanny then? I was like, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. But who knows? That may be completely a rumor, not true. I have to preface that. But there was some of that kind of talk yesterday. Also, Chris is saying everyone thinks they know what's best for you, but the truth is no one knows better than you do. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know, this could be both ways with Chris's future with the Raptors. It could be that he's saying, okay, everybody thinks it's best for me is to go get more money and go on and be on another team and make as much money. But maybe what's best for me is to stay in Toronto and not uproot my child and my life and not go to crazy ass America and just stay here. So I don't know. That I hope that's what it means, is the second one that I just said. That he's like, oh, you think what's best for me is to get as much money as possible in free agency, as much as I can? Well, that may be true. That may be what he's saying. Or it may be the opposite. It may be you think what's best for me is to sell out and go get as much money and go somewhere else. No, what's best for me is to stay in Canada and stay on the Raptors. So I don't know how to read this exactly. I don't know how to read this exactly. That's right. He's also saying this. I was ashamed of myself when I realized life was a costume party and I attended with my real face. Wow, that's deep right there. So what does Chris mean by that? That's Franz Kafka, by the way, in the quote. Does that mean that he's dealing with a lot of fake people around him and he's trying to be real himself and he's frustrated with it? That's what it sounds like to me. Well, we can try and analyze the psychology of what Chris Boucher is going through right now through his Instagram stories. That's all we can do. Kyle Lowry, our GROAT, is looking really buff and scary. There he is with Tyrese Maxey walking around somewhere at I guess that's at his son's basketball game. There's old Carter Lowry tearing it up and bombing from three. Like the next generation's coming. We're going to have GROAT too. Carter Lowry going to be in the NBA someday? Might be. And we got RJ Barrett is showing off Jamal Shed working out in Houston. He's 1-on-2 closeouts, working on that. And Barrett's liking the work he's putting in. So he's bumped up the story on his Instagram to show rookie Jamal Shed putting in the work in the offseason right now. So that's very, very good stuff there. Let's see. Toronto Tempo president Teresa Resch was back out at AFC Toronto's game at the York Lions Stadium. Best in the biz. So she's supporting women's sports and all sports, and she's out there watching the soccer team. There you go. Andrew Jones, Coach Andrew Jones is putting Ava through those rigmarole. She's doing a Sunday mile this morning. He's got his young daughter running a mile, keeping her ready for a possible a basketball career. And there's the Shed clip on his own Instagram stories. Jamal Shed putting in that work on 1-on-2 closeouts. Yeah, he's making the shots. I don't see him shooting with his left hand though. There's your Instagram stories for this morning, checking in on the Raptors and what they're putting out on their Instagram right now. Very, very cool, interesting stuff. I don't know how to read the tea leaves with Chris exactly. I don't know how to read it exactly. That'd be very interesting stuff there. Let's see. Patrick's saying Adams would be a great signing since we had Bismack Biyombo from that Eastern Conference Finals run. Yeah, Bismack, man, you're making me remember a great one-and-done season of Bismack Biyombo in the year that the Raptors went to the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron and Cleveland. Yeah, and we got one of those games against them. I was happy. I went to one of the games in that series, and it was the one where we beat them in Scotiabank Arena. So I was very happy that I was at one of the few games that we won against LeBronto. And yeah, Bismack, that's what I always think of, is that game when I think about Bismack. Of course, he had that fantastic block on LeBron on the inbounds play where they tried to inbound it to LeBron, and he was trying to attack the rim from the baseline. But Bismack read the whole play and blocked the hell out of him. That's my favorite Bismack play right there. That was such a good one. Kaz is saying, I agree. Adams would be a great addition, screen setting and post defense in terms of strength, and would be insane. He'd be a great fill for Jakob because he'd give exactly what Jakob does mostly, maybe without some of the offense that Jakob could provide. But it would be a great plug-in where we don't have any drop-off for the physicality, the size, the rebounding and the screen setting, like y'all are saying. Jakob's a very good screen setter also. And yeah, I mean, in some ways though, they're maybe too similar. And maybe what Masai and Bobby want to build with this roster is a diversity in big men. You can kind of think about Kelly Olynyk when he was on our team. He was a very different kind of look at center than Jakob. So I would say this, and maybe we don't want to get Steven Adams because he's too similar to Yak, and we want to get a young center like I'm saying Asa Newell, because Asa Newell would be like a lively kind of big, and he'd add a whole other level of like lob threat. And he's a 3-point shooter also, so he can be a stretch big that draws people out, which is actually with Jakob not being that, and Steven Adams isn't really that either. If we want a diversification at the center position, we probably need a center in this draft that shoots threes, like a Renault or an Asa Newell. So that's part of like, I like the diversity in weapons that Darko could go to on the roster. And that may be my one detraction on the whole idea of Steven Adams is he's too similar to Pirtle. That it maybe we don't need him also. That would maybe be my one detraction on that. I think he's a great character guy and he'd be great on a team. And I definitely have the green light open for him to come to our team. I'm not saying, no, we don't want this guy like Kevin Durant. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying, report online saying some Knicks players did not like the overuse of the starters. Well, they said that during the season. And there was one in particular that said it very publicly. And that was Mikal Bridges. And Mikal Bridges is the Iron Man of the NBA. This man has not missed a game in like how many years now? And well, if he's complaining that they're playing too much, well, they're playing too much because Mikal Bridges don't miss games. But yeah, he said that very publicly. Well, it's funny because we said this last summer. The Knicks will fail this year because of Thibodeau overplaying his starters. And well, they played just like a song on the radio. I've heard this song before. Yeah, it's familiar. Yeah, Thibodeau overplayed his starters and burned them out before getting anywhere in the playoffs. Yeah, we've heard this story before. That's right. And now, well, that was predictable. That was predicted by us on this channel last summer. And it came to fruition by the end of the year. That's right. It's really crazy. Let's see. Stargate saying why the Bucks traded Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton is beyond me. The guy they should have tried to replace, in my opinion, was Brook Lopez. But now they have Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, they're a mess. The Bucks are really dumb. Really, really dumb. I don't understand why they went and got Kyle Kuzma. Why did you think he's a good player? He belonged on the Wizards. Seriously, the Wizards and him are a perfect fit. They're the same kind of thing, the same kind of feeling as a player in a franchise. And, y'all getting him out of there and bringing him to Milwaukee, well, you just brought Washington to you. That's what you did, Milwaukee. You brought Washington to you. And what did he do in that playoff matchup this year? What did he do? He got some goose eggs and ran some cardio for y'all. So I hope you like $1 million cardio for Kyle Kuzma. Seriously, that was such a dumb move. And not only did you get a useless player, you sold out a longtime loyal champion from your team that was on your team for a decade to do this. So stupid, man. And all because the fans were complaining that Chris Middleton was hurt too much. Why did you do that move? Seriously, y'all would have been better off with Middleton healthy in the playoffs than younger Kuzma. Really, really dumb move. They are making horrible mistakes in Milwaukee the last couple of years. Horrible mistakes. Now, trading Brook Lopez, I don't know if that's the right move because in some ways, Brook Lopez has been a very good compliment to Giannis. He's played his whole entire career with Giannis pretty much, right? Think about that. Brook Lopez has always been there for Giannis. Now, it could be weird. Like, no Brook Lopez on the Bucks all of a sudden could be a very stark absence. And Giannis may not like it. It may be a move in the wrong direction because having that big that can shoot threes like that, it's actually kind of necessary to be on a team with Giannis. That's one of the things why if Giannis came to Toronto, it wouldn't work as well because Jakob is not a three-point shooting center. And part of the reason why it's worked so well in Milwaukee with them is because Brook Lopez is. So I would say that's maybe not the best move to get rid of Brook Lopez because he may be necessary next to Giannis. Maybe necessary. That's right. Let's see. So Rockets have their eye on Brook Lopez. However, with Giannis staying, I can't see the Bucks trading Lopez. Yeah, and it's probably for the same reason I just said. They played together their whole career. His whole career, Giannis has played with Brook. So Patrick's saying at Stargate, that's on me. I tend to go on a certain direction sometimes without proper contingency. Respect, sir. And I agree. Bucks dropped a big deuce on trading their once best players for Kuzma. Yeah, you're a very gracious, honorable, nice person, Patrick. You're very, very gracious, nice, honorable person. And I hope that everybody can just, be getting along, get good, and this is gonna be fun, man. I'm excited to have a new voice in the chat. And you know what? Attendance is mandatory. It's just a great service every single morning. I'm here. I'll be on tomorrow morning, every day. I've got a streak of almost 4 years. In September, I'll be doing this stream every single morning for 4 years now. So in the archive, you can go back and you can see all the crazy stuff I've said over the past 4 years. And we almost always do 2 hours. So it's like a really good, meaty, real Raptors content. In a lot of ways, the stuff that I, as a fan, wanted myself, I created here. As the pandemic, sitting around the house, like bored, wanting to talk Raptors with people, I said, well, let's see if they'll come to you, make a YouTube channel. And that's kind of how this happened. It's kind of crazy. Let's see what's going on. Stargate saying Joe Dumars will sort them out. Plus, Joe is from Louisiana. It's a pride thing for him as well. This is totally true. Yeah, Joe is a Louisiana guy. And I just think that was a demotion, though. I think, man, you were the head of all the NBA refs. You were like in the front office of the NBA. You were like maybe the third most important ranking person in the NBA's hierarchy after the commissioner and the deputy commissioner. Seriously. Why would you take this step down and go and run the Pelicans for a different challenge? I mean, you used to run the Pistons. Didn't you get that challenge before running the Pistons? I think that you were doing a good job being the head of the refs. And in some ways, I'm not happy about this move for Joe Dumars because I trusted the refs more knowing that Joe Dumars was their boss. And now that he isn't the boss, in some ways, some of the integrity for the refs is gone. Because seriously, Joe Dumars is a stand-up guy. He's somebody that I really, really trust. And having him in charge of the refs was actually a really good thing, Adam Silver. And to me, this feels like a step down in his career going to run the New Orleans Pelicans. Even if it's a pride thing for his home state, I still think you stepped down, Joe. You were in charge of all the refs in the NBA. And in some ways, if you'd stuck around in that position, who knows? Maybe you could have been the commissioner of the NBA at some point. But at this point, I don't know if that's going to happen now that you're going to Louisiana. Yeah, LaMelo likes the Cougars. Okay. All right. Good for him. Okay, there you go. He likes the Cougars, huh? Stargate saying, Patrick, no need to apologize. It really isn't that serious. We're all grown here. It's all good. Yeah, some people will be a little abrasive, but it's all with good intentions. We are very passionate fans for the Raptors. And in some ways, we get territorial and very protective. And sometimes people come in here and disrespect the team and step in it. Trust me. They'll step in it with the comments. And then if I see it and I get really mad at them, oh man, I've blown up on some people in this chat. And rightfully so, for crazy ass things they're saying. So man, you got to come correct. You have to have your heart in the right place. And I know Patrick does, just from meeting him yesterday. This dude's a real Raptors fan and he wants the same things we want, guys. He wants the same things we want. Patrick's saying, Stargate, I give my respects still. You're a real one. I like your humor, a breath of fresh air for me. This is the thing. Stargate is our conspiracy theorist in some ways. I'm with him though. And one of the things we like to talk about a lot, Patrick, is the how basketball and hockey mix with each other in Canada. And a lot of it, we get real here. Like we don't mince words. I'll talk about Israel. I'll talk about what I just talked about earlier with Trump. And we will talk about race. We will talk about very high level, difficult subjects that are touchy that some people just don't want to talk about. It's all on the table here. I mean, we're quoting scripture and we're talking about religion. We're also talking politics here. So it's all on the table. And one of the things that we like to talk about, especially Stargate and I, is how basketball's rise in popularity in Canada is hurtful or scaring Hockey Canada. And that Hockey Canada acts out in weird ways. And some of it's very racist. And like the thing about Shanahan not allowing Raptors pictures on the bottom floor at the Scotiabank Arena recently, it's stuff like that. So yeah, Stargate's a very protective Raptors fan for the team. And I love him for it so much, but he's a little bit one of our pit bulls. Let's just put it that way, as far as like, yeah, sick him. Stargate will get them. And this is the thing. He's a warrior of social media. He spent a lot of time in the trenches in places like Twitter and Facebook defending the honor of our team. So he is a little feisty. But I like that y'all are finding a really good place of respect. And you're a very gracious person, Patrick. I really, really appreciate that. That's a great quality. It's a very good quality for a person. That's right. Yeah, he's funny too. Stargate's a very funny guy, but he can be very serious too. Stargate saying LaMelo is not a winning player. As much as I dislike Halliburton, he's a way more controlled than Ball. Yeah, I think it's a good distinction. And it's not just that he's getting the chances and the opportunities to make clutch shots at the end of games to prove this. It's just there's just certain fundamental things that Tyrese does better. Some of it's ball handling, some of it's footwork, some of it's just kind of understanding how to use your teammates in certain ways better. I think that Tyrese has done a fantastic job of integrating all of the Pacers into the offense and allowing everybody to get their points. The fact that they've had many playoff games this season, the Pacers, with like 6 guys in double digits, 7 guys in double digits is a testament. Because like in the playoffs, usually you're going to your bread and butter, Kawhi's and people like that, Jalen Brunson's, and they're dominating, getting 30 to 40-point games. And maybe you have like 2 other guys in double digits. Not the Pacers. The balance is there. And in some ways, Halliburton is the composer that is directing it to go to the right spots and who can get what. And that Carlisle's system doesn't work without Halliburton kind of being unselfish. And that's what he says after the interviews. You know, he didn't have a lot of points in the first game. He got like 14, but he hit the main important shot at the end. But that's what he says in interviews. He says, my job is to get my teammates involved. I'm a point guard, and I need to find them, is what he says. And that's the right attitude in his head. I don't know how much LaMelo's thinking that in Charlotte. You know, think about that. In some ways, it's partly his personnel is not good enough, and partly also because he has to carry. But yeah, that's part of it right there. Interesting comment. Mo's giving me my cutoff as the producer of the show. Monique is saying, all right, Lex, you're getting close to 2 hours. We got to give you the cutoff here. W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Crew strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Mo, for being a beacon of how to be a fan for a team. You are a great example for everybody in Raptors Nation on how to love your team with your full heart. And you're one of my best friends. I love you so much, Mo. And it was my pleasure to come down to the NBA restaurant and hang out with you in person once again. I'm looking forward to the next time as soon as possible, too. That's right. Mo's saying more news and notes. Masai is going to be on the Kelly Clarkson show. Stay tuned and look out for the link about Giants of Africa. That's cool. So Mo's got the inside scoop that Kelly Clarkson's talk show, the former American Idol contestant, is going to have Masai Ujiri on as a guest soon. That's very, very cool. I love that inside knowledge. Also, y'all check out Monique's appearance on this audio documentary that came out from a TMU student named James, who interviewed her for a conversation on diversity in sports fan nations. And it's a fantastic interview. It's about 20-minute clip, and Monique has her part in it. Then y'all should check it out and see this work. And it's very up to date. In fact, they talk about current issues with USA and Canada. And they even have a clip of Canadian fans booing the U.S. anthem on this very interesting radio documentary on fan nations and diversity in Canada. And Monique is on it and talking about her perspective as a super fan for the Raptors. So definitely check that out. We have the link up in Discord, and we should have it up in the Facebook group also, so you guys can find it easy. Yeah, and see what Mo did. It's very, very cool. Wayne is here. Good to see the Sergeant at Arms. Wayne Strainer is in the house. Morning, Raptor Freaks. I think we are going to be saying this game is vital to a lot in the NBA series finale. Tonight, OKC has to win and reclaim a certain level of home court advantage. This is for sure. They're in big trouble. If the Pacers are able to do what they did to Cleveland, to the Oklahoma City Thunder today, man, that'd be so impressive and a huge testament to the team synergy and the coach, Rick Carlisle, that they're able to go into the 2 teams on both conferences that are the top of the standings with the craziest records, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and go into their arenas on their home court and take both the first two games of the series, wow, that really was the huge nail in the coffin for the Cleveland Cavaliers. When Indiana came to Cleveland and won both games on the Cleveland home court to start that series, woo, they were done. So if this happens again today, what an accomplishment of the Indiana Pacers if they're able to do that. Wow. Wow. And you know what? Don't count them out, obviously, because look at game one. And the other thing I'll say is this all makes us look good. Siakam continued success past us makes us look good. In fact, he is mentioning his time with us on blast on national television more often. The Raptors are getting talked about. Also, it makes us look good because we have a winning record against the Pacers this past regular season. We did. We beat them 3 out of 4 games that we played them in the regular season. So that's great. I love when the Raptors are bad in their season, but somehow, some way, they actually beat the champions in the regular season series. That happens sometimes. It's crazy. So if the Pacers win the championship, technically the Raptors beat the champs in the season series. Seriously, you can go look at it. We beat the Pacers the first 2 games we played them, and then we split the last 2. So 3-4 was the series. 3-1 for the Raptors in that one. Yeah. Stargate saying at Lex, was it demolition though? Or did Joe want out of the NBA front office? Maybe he saw things going on in the front office he didn't like and wanted no part of it as a man of integrity. See, I wouldn't think that he'd be like that, though. I think if he saw things not going right and he didn't see things with integrity, he'd be trying to stop it and he'd bring that integrity in. I don't know. I wonder if it's the money. I wonder if it's that the NBA position did not pay as much as the job in Louisiana. That could be it right there. It could also be that he does want to be more in a home local base. And, you know, because the NBA job may have had him traveling more often. It could be that he was flying around to check on referees in different cities in different ways. And maybe he was had more duties where he had to go different places and he had to travel a lot. If he goes and he runs the Pelicans, he just has to stay in New Orleans. And not only that, he's at home near people. Could very well be there's a family member in his family that's not doing well, and he wants to be near them because that is the geographic location. There could be all kinds of factors into this. I think it's highly unlikely that he snuffed out in not good people in the front office. As if that was happening, I think he'd want to stay more to try and be part of fixing it than running away from it. So I think it's more likely he got paid more money. That's the biggest one right there. I think that's probably what it is right there. All right, let's go check on things real quick. We got a segment here called The Straight Goods on Canadian Goods. Since Trump declared a tariff war, I've been trying to help people on the Rapid Freak channel buy more Canadian. And in fact, it's been working. You know, he fucked around. He found out. Seriously, you're going to get Canadians pissed at you. We're going to get more nationalistic, and we're going to start taking care of our own. And that's by Canadian products, buying them and services, and supporting Canada. And we've done a good job. They've not hurt our economy. In fact, our economy has grown 2.2% or something in the first quarter, which I don't know what the growth is considering things, but it's still growing. It makes sense if we stop buying American products and we buy more Canadian products, more jobs for Canadians, and the economy of Canada is doing better. So today, I want to talk about a very specialized restaurant in downtown Toronto on King Street, right across the street from Roy Thompson Hall, called Shawarma's King. I used to go to Shawarma's King regularly when I was taking classes at Second City. I would taking improv classes and script writing classes for comedy. And I would go to Shawarma's King and see Bob every single day. Bob was my guy. I don't know if Bob's still working there. I probably not. I hope he's moved on to greener pastures. But yeah, Bob was my dude. And I used to come in there and eat and just pal around in there. It's a very special restaurant to me. And so if you want to support a Canadian business, go to Shawarma's King on King Street, right near Roy Thompson Hall. It's really close to Il Fornello and right in between Il Fornello and Princess of Wales Theater. You can find Shawarma's King. So go on in there and get your good shawarma. I used to eat there regularly. I kind of miss that place because it was very, very good. And Bob, what up, man? I hope you're doing good, bro. He was my guy, Bob. His name wasn't Bob, but I called him Bob anyway. He didn't mind. He was nice like that. There's your straight goods on Canadian goods right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Let's keep going with the tabs. We'll go look at Raptors Reddit reactions real quick. So they're asking on Reddit this morning, how well do you think Andrea Bagnani would have done in this era. I think he would have been amazing. I think this is true. The man should have been a time traveler. He was a decade too early for his NBA career. If that man that came in the league 10 years later, holy crap, he would be so sought after, and he was like a time traveler. It came from the future, but too early. And the NBA wasn't ready for you, Andrea Bargnani. So look, don't get mad at Colangelo and Garradini for drafting Bargnani #1 for the Raptors. Be proud, Raptors fans, because we were ahead of our time. We were visionaries, and we picked a player of the future before anybody else. And he was not a bust. I don't care what anybody says. Andrea Bargnani had a long NBA career. He averaged good numbers. There's many more #1 picks in the history of the NBA that are busts than Andrea Bargnani, a very solid player. I'm telling you right now. Somebody on here is trying to say RJ Barrett is good as gone from the Raptors if the latest rumors are true. Whatever that bullshit y'all are trying to say, y'all go on, get out of here with your trash. That's right. Take that trash to the dumpster, and you go ahead and get in that dumpster with that trash. How about that? That's what I say to anybody talking about trading RJ Barrett right now. That's right. Are we impacted by the inevitable expansion? Somebody's going into this thing because they know they're talking about already expanding the NBA 2 more teams, which means we go to 32 teams in the entire league. And that's a nice round number for tournaments, because you think about it, 32 to 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 to 1. And that also means more aligned divisions. Right now, the NBA has 6 divisions, but it could very well be with 32 teams, they're going to go back to 4 divisions, 2 in each conference. So realignment of divisions could happen. But I'm going to say this right now, the Raptors will end up staying in the Atlantic Division with the teams they're already in, and maybe just adding I guess they'd add like 3 teams to our division. So it could very well be all of a sudden Washington and I don't know, maybe Cleveland or something. They may absorb some of the teams from the Great Lakes into a division with us. It's an interesting question, and it is something that could affect the Raptors down the road. We'll have to check that out. That's just a couple check-ins with Raptors Reddit. Is there anything interesting on Blue Skies? Probably not. Let's see. What else? Is there anything else there? No, let's do the classic card. We're moving right along here. Demotion, not demolition. Yeah, you said demotion. I read it demolition. I don't know why. Maybe sometimes when you write comments, I think wrestling. You guys are talking wrestling. Demolition? What about demolition? Yeah, here comes the axe. And here comes the smasher. The demolition. Walking disaster. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We got our classic card of the day. This is how the classic cards come about, Patrick. I put them on the show. And so all those cards you were looking at yesterday were classic cards in the past. Here's a classic card for today. Full name answer will get the classic card points. If you could tell me what classic NBA player this is in the card today, you'll get the classic card points. Forward center, Lakers. That's pretty easy card. Look at that. He's a really unflattering picture of him. Look at him. What did they do to him, man? Why'd they do that to him? Why would they put that picture on that card? Yeah, you're right. Sam Perkins of UNC played with Michael Jordan in the 80s on the Tar Heels. But yeah, why did they do that to him? What did they do that to him, man? Okay, actually, it doesn't look as bad looking at that time. Do you know who the player is behind him? I don't know if I'll give bonus points, but if somebody can tell me who that player is guarding him, who's looking just as he looks like he's straining too much there. That looks a little crazy. Anybody gonna call it? Reggie, you know who the backup player is? The guy in the back? I know that guy. I can tell you who that is. That's Charles Smith, formerly of the Clippers. Actually, he was on the Clippers there, it looks like. He's also on the Knicks. So, yeah, Sam Perkins, classic card of the day. It's 100 points for Smooth Brown Man getting the classic card of the day. Samuel Bruce Perkins. There you go. Number 4 pick in the draft from the Tar Heels. So let's write that in real quick. Smooth Brown Man getting the classic card. Sam Perkins is the classic card today. Boom goes the dynamite. Another 100 points for Smooth, who's going to be getting this championship trophy for our trivia this year. That's right. 100 points for Smooth. 2 days in a row right there. That's the trivia trophy right there. There's a name plaques that will be added down there, and it'll say Smooth Brown Man on there. That's right. Yeah, Sam Perkins was a Pacer at some point, I think. He's more known for being Seattle, Dallas, and the Lakers than anything. I want to say he was on the Pacers for a second. Maybe. I think that sounds right. Smooth. Yeah. All right, let's see. I'm done, guys. Right before 2 hours. This is fantastic. So let me just do the wrap up. Today, we've been talking about Team USA versus the world format for the All-Star coming up. I think this is a fantastic idea. I want to see a very, very challenging game, a very competitive game. And I want to see, these guys play all out. You're playing for your nationalistic pride. You're playing for global dominance of basketball in the world. And the debate is very intensified at this point. We see ESPN talking heads saying, no way that the world is caught up to the United States as far as a power in basketball. There's no way. Well, let's see. Let's test it. Let's see where it's at. Because honestly, how many years in a row has the MVP been a foreign-born player at this point? How many of the players that were at the top of the MVP voting this year were foreign-born players? The top three were, that's for sure, with SGA, Joker, and Giannis. So it's like, let's see it. Let's test this. Some people like Draymond Green said, no way the rest of the world's better than USA. Well, let's find out. And that is going to be fantastic. Hopefully the byproduct will be a competitive game, well played, where the guys are actually trying. Because that's what we really want with the All-Star game, is a game that's not lazy and stupid. And, well, maybe they feel like they got a chance is because Luka and Nikola will be on the international team. And they do play lazy and stupid in the All-Star game. So maybe they'll get up and pep themselves up in some ways because they're representing the global world against the United States. And, well, the world wants to catch up and show that they are better, actually. That'll be interesting to see that. Yeah. Stargate saying, Masai's on Kelly Clarkson? Wow, very interesting. I guess that the NBA isn't promoting the Raptors fairly down south, then we will do it ourselves, and we will use unorthodox methods to do so. Smart. Yeah. I would say this. Masai's gone on very interesting shows over the years, and this does not surprise me. In some ways, he's somewhat of a celebrity. I mean, it'd be great. I think he's going there more to talk about Giants of Africa and talk about some of the things they're doing with Basketball Africa League and over there. And that may be what Kelly Clarkson's more interested in also, in putting him on. But it's great. All publicity is good publicity. It may be not on my bingo card for what was going to happen, but it's happening. And that's fantastic. And thank you, Mo, for the insider knowledge on that. Yeah, a little tip on that. Yeah, there's some cool stuff coming up with the Raptors and Giants of Africa in the next year for sure. We know it. We know that stuff's coming up. All right, let's get out of here, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Once again, the refs today highly favor the Thunder to even up the series today. Zach Zarba, James Williams, Ben Taylor will be present. Ben Taylor will be making his finals debut as a referee. This will be the first time ever he's refereed in the finals. Go to King Shawarma on King West across from Roy Thompson Hall. Fantastic food. You won't be disappointed. Go on down there, y'all. No birthdays today, unfortunately. I don't have a birthday on the list for this date today, guys. So, yeah. All right. I appreciate everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Patrick, for coming to the channel and joining the RFF. I hope you enjoy being a part of our team. And, it's the right place. If you love the Raptors very much, this is a great place to be because you know what? We want to talk about them every day. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Monday Moment, the Monday Moment. And, maybe we'll go a little bit more in depth on the party yesterday and celebrating Mo's birthday a little bit more on the stream tomorrow during the day. Yeah. So everybody have a great Sunday. Enjoy the finals game today. I may be on the Discord a little bit later on during the game. If you guys want to chat during the Thunder Pacers game today, I should be in there for a little bit of voice chat and talking if you guys want to talk in there. That's always a great place for meeting on off hours and talking Raptor stuff. If you're bored and you just have time, you want to come in there. I'm usually around. If I'm around, I'll jump in there and do voice chats with people on the Discord, just hanging out. So, yeah. And also look out for me appearing on To The Point after the game in a post reaction for the finals game too. And it will appear collaboratively on this channel and on To The Point's channel. We will be filming that shortly after the game ends. So, yeah, thanks, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you subscribe, you can participate in our chat. If you join the channel, you get access to our Discord and our Facebook group where all kinds of information is being shared 24/7. So you want to be the most knowledgeable, up-to-date, on top of things Raptors fan. The Raptor Freak channel is essential for this. The other channels ain't going to go like we do here. They may be coming with clickbait and Giannis trade rumors and stuff like that. Now, we are dealing in fact, and we are dealing in real reality for getting that second Larry O'Brien for the Toronto Raptors franchise. And that's what we're all about here. All right, y'all. Thanks. I'm going to get this done right at 2 hours. That's going to show how professional I am. Ooh, let's wait 45 seconds. Should I wait? Should I get Justin out just for a second? Let's get Justin. Where's Justin? Wake up, Justin. This is my Beaver son, Justin Beaver. He is our Canadian content officer. Justin, sorry I roused you, bro. Yeah, how are you doing this morning? You're my son. You know that, Justin? You're my son, my Beaver son. You're my damn son. Damn son. You out there building a damn son? All right, Justin, we got to go. 20 seconds till we got to go. You got anything to say for anybody right there? No, he doesn't talk. He's just a beaver, man. Of course he's not going to talk. Anyway, I love you. You're my son. Go back to bed. All right. All right. Go back to bed. All right. He's going to bed. Yeah, he's tired. You know, he doesn't get up this early. He's a busy beaver, but he does his stuff in the afternoon. Let's go, Raptors. 2 hours.